Now watch. Where is it? He's talking about conformed into the image of his son. That's what I'm looking at right here. Okay. Now watch. Look, now this verse people quote it all the time. And I don't have time to break this thing down because I can go hours just on this one verse right here. Okay. But I'm not going to do that. And we know that all things, what all things? All the things that he talked about above the verse. What things? This, the redemption of your body, the subjection to fertility, the expectation of creation, the suffering. All things. The all things are the sufferings of this present time. They're not worthy to be compared to the glory which shall be revealed in us. So nobody wants to talk about that. But that's what verse 28 is actually pointing to. That's the all things. You know what people want? They want what the flesh wants. The all things is I be healed. The all things is I get a better job. The all things is my family, nothing happened to my family. I never get sick. Get out of here. That stuff keep happening over and over and over again. And what happens? Because they're going around teaching that garbage, and people, when reality hit, and they do get sick, ended up in the hospital, or they do lose a family member, a young one, or they do get cancer, or they do lose a job, they get frustrated with God. Why? Because somebody taught them something that's not in the book. They yank verse 28 away. They yank it out of its context. They don't tie it to this right here, which what God is talking about, the suffering that comes before the glorification, the futility. And he tied to God's going to do this for me. God's going to keep me, my family from having issues. God's going to keep me healed and with money and all. That's stupidity, friends. I'm calling it what it is. I don't care if you tune me out. It doesn't matter because I'm right, because that's what the books say. Not because I'm right, because I'm just reading what it says. The all things is pointing to everything above it. Those are the things that work together for good. How? Because now you're going to get another body. That's how it works. And the Spirit of God intercedes for us to get us to that point. For good to those who love God, to those who are what? Who call on God? No, they are called. The same thing you've seen over in the book of Ephesians 3 and 4 times. According to his purpose, not according to yours. God has a purpose for doing what he's doing. That is allowing us to go through the suffering. For whom he foreknew, he also did what? Here is God's purpose. He now tells you what the single purpose that he has for everything that we're going through. He also predestined to be what? Conformed to the very image of his son. Why in the world would you do that, God? So that Jesus might be the firstborn of many brothers who are in heaven with him. And because of that, That predestination, he called. Who called? God called. So all these callings that's in the Bible, does it say you called? No. It says God did that. Why would he do that? He called those so that he can justify them. And those he justified, he's going to glorify. Will a believer ever be lost? Not one that God called. All those that claim that they call on him, yeah, they're going to be lost. Why? Because if God never called them, they're never going to heaven. The only people who are predestined are those that are called. And the only ones that are called are going to be glorified. Notice there's an ED on the back end of all these words. Why? Because in the eyes of God, it's already done. So I don't like that. Well, so can you change it? Friends, you gotta come back to the book. If God is sovereign, and he is, then he can do what he wants. If he's the creator, then how in the world are you going to stop it? And so I'm going to use my free will. Okay, use your free will to teleport yourself to another state. Use your free will to teleport yourself to another country, to another planet. God can. Then he's the only one that has free will, friends. The angels can't even show up and appear unless God says, yes, you can. They don't have free will. The only one who has free will to do whatever he wants to do whenever he wants to do it is the Most High God. Friend, you got to be sovereign to have free will. And God said, I'm not sharing that with anybody. Why? Because I'm the only one that's God. So there you go, right there. Here's the purpose. God wrote it out